powerful object that I found was the war horn from the 1823 to 1831 First Anglo-Ashanti War. And by touching the horn, I was able to, I guess, have a feel about the kind of craftsmanship that our ancestors had put into making such an instrument.
I thought the throwing knife was interesting because it's quite tactile, something I could pick up, interact with. And the bowl was interesting because that's kind of the hidden element. But I think the fact that you've got these objects and that there's maybe some mystery around them or some missing information, I think that's probably what's most resonated with me, because then it leads to a lot of thoughts about where did they come from, how did they get here, how did they link back to Ghana.
The war belt, for me, the amount of description and conversation I was able to have around, I guess, the structure of this belt, kind of looking at it initially, I thought it was something worn around the waist. Tristan was able to explain to me where the blades are, the gunpowder. There's another item that people would use for more refined gunpowder to load the actual weapon. All of this gives you, I guess, a better idea, and you start to paint a picture of what was actually happening when someone would wear this belt.
I think it's very important to have Ghanaian and foreign artifacts on British soil for two main reasons. Ghanaians are all over the world, Africans all over the world, and fortunately or unfortunately, some don't get the opportunity to go back home on a regular basis to find out as much as they could about their history and the past. And having them in places on display is a way in which they can make what would be a 1,000-mile journey or 2,000, 3,000, 5,000-mile journey an hour on a tube, and it would still have that same impact on them and allow them to understand a bit more about themselves or a bit more about a culture. And it also does that for other people as well. People who've never been to Africa might never go, but can also get an understanding of civilizations, different cultures, and a further understanding of different histories and different stories told by other people.
My feelings are, I don't know how they got here. Maybe I should be angry about maybe how they got here, but they're here now, and the fact that they're here is a good thing, because it means that we can see them, we can experience them, and hopefully we can learn more about them and how they relate to our history and the people that were here before, the people that suffered in war for us. I think they're relevant because they're a part of our history, they're a part of our culture and where we're from. Some of us may not have been born there, but it is in us, it's in our blood, and to see these objects has been a brilliant experience for me particularly.
So I really think it's relevant to anyone who cares to explore and who cares to understand their roots. It's not necessarily my root because I'm Nigerian and these artifacts are mostly from Ghana, but I still feel very connected to them.
These things have a legacy. It's still shaped kind of the mindset of the people who've raised your parents, the way your parents have raised you. And there's a big legacy to everything that your ancestors have gone through that as you're growing up, you start to realize plays a bigger part in who you are today. So for me, personally, I think everyone should know more about their own history. And that's why I think it's definitely relevant.